Interesting stories. Interesting people. Welcome to the Humble Badger Podcast.
Thank you for listening to this podcast today. Remember to like and follow us at The Humble Badger on Twitter and Facebook, or at The Humble Badger Podcast on Instagram. This episode is brought to you with the help of our promotional partners at One Stop Printing. For all your professional graphic design, printing, and photography needs, check out onestopprintshop.ca. My name is Pablo Dawson. I'm an event host and an MC, and I'm your host for this episode. As you know, we always give you some random information or ask a random questions. This one comes from the listeners. There's the old tagline that we used to have for this podcast: tackling stories and controversies with thought-provoking analysis. So this question actually comes from way back then, and the question was, do you prefer Star Wars or Star Trek? And I find this question always to be strange, because the two are not really related outside of the fact that they have star in the title. They were completely different creations at different times, different decades, different generations, but for some reason, people always want to argue which one is better. Now, in my personal view, I have watched Star Wars and I'm more familiar with Star Wars than I am with Star Trek. Star Trek also is much more prolific than Star Wars, having several different incarnations through the years. I'd love to know what my co-host thinks. Let us know.
Well, clearly one is a Trek, the other is a war.
That's right. Yeah, that was the main difference.
Yes.
That's what I got.
That's the only difference, really. That's all. Hi, I'm Hio Del Guapo. You can call me Chris. I am a singer, cartoonist, and in the words of the great Obi-Wan Kenobi, live long and prosper.
Yeah. There's going to be, we're going to get lots of angry fan mail. And not letters, because nobody sends those anymore, but like angry comments. It's much easier to make comments. My guest face is already turning red because he's so upset by your comment, and I'll let him introduce himself if he still has the ability to.
As I wipe the tears from my eyes.
He literally has tears in his eyes. You'll catch that on the video later.
All right, moving forward. Hey guys, my name is Matt Zaddy. I'm a singer-songwriter based in Mississauga. I perform a mix of folk rock and rhythm and blues. I also do a fair amount of event hosting, as Mr. Pablo Dawson does. I released a new record in November 2019 entitled B, and the new single for that album just came out entitled Brighter Days.
It's an incredible track, and you got to listen to it.
Oh, you sweetheart.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not making it up.
Oh, yes,
and the album name is B. That's just B-E, not B-E-E. So don't be looking for like bumblebees and stuff like that. I don't know if Matt's on Bumble. We've gotten off topic again. Let's get back to the real topic, which is...
Don't ask me that.
Star Wars or Star Trek.
My wife is in the room next to me. Don't ask me that.
You could have a wife and still be on Bumble.
No, you can't.
I know.
Officially on the record, no. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Well, we have an open relationship. I mean, I just think she just wants to keep her options open, but that's how I feel. But yeah, exactly. Star Wars or Star Trek? What are your thoughts?
I love both. I would Trek first.
Okay, that's fair. You also were Chewbacca last Halloween, were you not?
It was.
That's right. Thank you. Now we have to pay George Lucas like $2 million just because you did.
Would this be better?
That's Chewbacca and an Ewok having some fun. I don't know what to say. I don't even know where we go from here. But let's start with your music. Were you always musically inclined? And when did you know that you were going to actually be able to make a career out of music?
I'll give you a three-part answer.
Okay.
I was lucky as a kid. I had parents that enrolled me in music classes, and I happened to excel at it. I played piano from the time I was 5. I started playing guitar when I was 13, clarinet when I was 9, sax and bass somewhere in there as well. Singing was always a very casual thing, but has now I'm actually I consider myself more of a guitar player, but I'm known more as a singer. I knew that I wanted to do music as a career. I had an epiphany moment watching a performance when I was 16 where everything just sort of clicked.
Right.
As far as a career in it, sort of blossomed into that on its own. My primary concern when I was younger was just creating art. And I spent about 10 years running around the country and around the U.S. Playing like an avant-garde sort of progressive metal or tech death metal, as we call it. The singer-songwriter thing came later. I had ended that band, had no idea what I wanted to do, and was doing a handful of things musically in the community, one of which was hosting an open mic. And people started seeing me sing, and I started getting lots of offers for gigs, both joining other bands, performing as a solo artist. And while I was kind of contemplating what I'd done with the last 10 years of my life, all of these songs sort of came out from that. And from that, I picked 5 and put out a record in 2015, which did reasonably well. I toured that across Canada, which was fun, and I guess helped to establish me because it was my first release as a singer-songwriter. Prior to that, I'd released all metal albums. And then my newest release, like I said, just came out a few months ago in late 2019, and things look very bright.
Check out Brighter Days from the album B.
Come on, I gave you the red carpet there. I was just waiting for it.
Yes. He gets a ding for that, and we're back to the mattress. Okay.
That's what the sound was. Springs. I couldn't think of it. I was like, why do I know the sound?
We're
bed
already
related.
The interview's gone off the rails already.
It was never on the rails to begin with.
All right.
Yeah, well, that's what you get when you invite someone who's a metalhead, right?
This is true.
Yes.
Yes. I thought I told you to keep that quiet, though.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, you mean Matt?
Oh, yeah. So, Matt, you host a number of open mics, and for those of you who do not know, there are 6 usually per month that he hosts, and you open up opportunities for a wide range of local talent. And I've done this before, it is not easy to host an open mic and certainly to organize it and all that. Can you tell the audience what some of the biggest misconceptions either a new performer has about open mics or audience members have about open mics in general?
Let's see. As far as performers, if somebody has a lot of experience performing, there's usually one of 2 things that I get. Either their expectations are very high or they're not used to working in that environment. It's one of those things that a lot of the time with these open mics, it's a reasonably quick performance, 10 to 15 minutes per performer. It's a very quick on and a very quick off, and it has to be that way, otherwise the night can't function and things get behind. They get behind anyway.
They do.
Pablo.
But they're fun.
I love it because he's the first guy to always remind me, hey, Matt, running on time today? I'm like, shut up. No.
That's not a dig at you. That's a dig at the other performers.
And for more inexperienced performers, that aren't familiar either with mic technique or in terms of how the type of thing has to function. I try to give everybody a quick little, okay, this is what you can expect. This is how long we have. You cannot take 10 minutes getting set up.
Right.
I find with vocalists, one of the things I end up doing a lot is coaching them in terms of mic placement or mic technique so that when they decide to really belt those notes, they make sure that they back away from that microphone and not destroy our ears.
One of the vocalists that you've had on is Mr. Haydar.
Yes. I'm actually, I'm truly grateful and honored. I was just saying, too, when we were talking to Heather a while ago, that, again, amazing artists, both of you, but even better people. And that's, Matt Zaddy is my favorite human. I want that to be on the record.
Not even his mother got that.
She's my mom. That's different.
That's different?
That's
different.
I see.
Okay.
No, there's a handful of people that come to some of these events on a pretty frequent basis, and why don't you tell them what we call that special hour?
Oh yes, that is the quiet storm.
The quiet storm.
The quiet storm.
Yeah, it's like
after 11, I believe.
I will be dating myself when I say this, but just think lovers and other strangers with Don Jackson.
Yes.
I remember that. I do remember that.
Yes.
But then, hold on a second.
All right. What does Matt Zaddy like to do to unwind? What's your guilty pleasure? What is your favorite brand of ice cream?
Unwinding. I love to cook.
Really?
I love to cook. It's one of my favorite things to do to unwind. I also love Star Wars and Star Trek.
In that order.
I'm now rewatching some, because the whole Disney Plus thing, I'm rewatching some Star Wars right now. But I'll be switching to Trek again shortly.
Fairly soon.
There are 4 lights. Hashtag there are 4 lights. They're like, we don't know what you're talking about.
So you have Disney Plus?
Yeah.
It is something that you would recommend?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the whole Marvel universe is on there. Everything Pixar, everything Star Wars.
The Mandalorian, right?
Yeah, Mandalorian's. You know what Mandalorian is basically? It's like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly done by Star Wars.
It's like space.
It's like space
Western.
cowboys. Yeah. Like when the theme starts and this kind of sound here's all I hear in my head is
All that went in my head was, you remember that song, Like a Rhinestone Cowboy?
Like a rhinestone cowboy.
Yeah, pretty good.
I think of John Lovitz when I hear that. For some
Right?
I do too. It's exactly what I think of.
Did you put on
Is John
something
Lovitz.
for the kids with a beat?
I thought that his favorite, my
School
favorite
High.
John Lovitz performance was when he was in, was it A League of Their Own?
Oh, yes.
You know, that was, he was like the agent or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, he was great in
Yeah,
that.
he's great in everything. You remember The Critic?
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's we're going way back.
It stinks.
It stinks.
Also, to unwind, I like to go see music as opposed to just be performing it, just to be an audience member and just to take it in. I'm a big fan as well. I love one of the things Heather and I do, my fantastic partner in life and music,
That's right.
River North. Yeah.
That's right. The River North.
Yeah. Museums. I love I love history, so I love going to museums.
Oh, okay.
So
But no, it's interesting that you said that you like watching music to unwind. You know, but that's what you do. So the reason I'm
and listen to music. I love to
Right,
listen to
that's-
music.
yeah, I'm just trying to continue an argument I had with my wife because she's like, well, you know, why are you not unwinding? I'm like, well, I need to get away like into nature or something like that because when you're in entertainment, I find it difficult to unwind to consume more entertainment. You understand? So I'm like, well, in order for me to unwind, I need to go somewhere where I don't have a TV or a phone or access to things like that. That's the only way I can unwind because everything is entertainment.
Like a river up north.
Pretty much. Yes.
Snap.
Hashtag River North. So we're
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that there are certain kinds of music that are more demanding to the ear than not. And, you know, obviously, if I'm relaxing, I'll have less of that as opposed to a whole lot of it. But music is basically the soundtrack to my life. So
Right.
it's
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Don't get me wrong. I like my silence.
Yes.
But no, I definitely try to have music, you know, with as many things as I can in my life. I also love nature walks, particularly in the winter.
Winter nature
just-
walks. Interesting.
Yeah.
At night.
All the nature's hidden by the snow.
All the nature's hidden by the snow.
Yeah,
right.
it's just you need to open your eyes a little more.
That's right. Well, Chris, I think it's time for rapid fire. What do you think?
Let's
do it.
It's time for rapid fire.
You ready, Matt?
I got a real tough one for you. All right. Is it wrong for a vegetarian to eat animal crackers?
I think that's going to be his answer to everything. So the question is it wrong for a vegan to eat animal crackers?
yes.
'Cause those are see, for those of you who don't know, there's a difference between vegan and vegetarian. Perhaps you can enlighten the audience on what that is.
Vegetarians strictly abstain mostly just from meat. Usually, some will eat eggs, some will eat other animal products because animal products are in almost everything. Vegans, to the greatest extent possible, abstain from all animal products.
And continuing with rapid fire, do you own a bicycle?
No.
And do you like to ride my bicycle? Not my bicycle, but like.
Are you lending it to me?
No,
I'm
I don't
curious
have a
where
bike.
this is going.
Have you looked at
Is this
me?
the
Do I
sound
look
that
like
the-
I ride a bike?
Is this the sound that the chair makes?
It's an adjustable seat, really.
It's an adjustable
Yeah,
seat
yeah.
sometimes.
Love to ride bikes.
Yeah,
Want
but
one.
you don't have one,
Don't
right?
don't have one currently. Heather has one. I have not ridden her bike.
Okay.
Like as a tandem bike. Like the
That would be
two-seats.
cool. It would be
tandem
very
bike?
Kermit the Froggish.
Right.
I would love that.
Why not just get a unicycle at that point? Anyways,
Well,
go-
What's she gonna do?
that's
Sit on my
'cause two people.
shoulders?
Yeah, it's weird. It's a balance.
I'm gonna continue.
If you were given the opportunity to fly into space given today's technology, would you do it?
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Good
Didn't even
answer right
hesitate.
there.
eh?
I would never hesitate on
right.
something like that.
I don't know if that deserves
I am
a
far
ding,
too much
but-
a science enthusiast to not want to
Right.
experience that and understand it.
It is the final frontier.
That's true. Okay, yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
what we were talking
I've
to.
redeemed myself.
Yeah.
Often you are at parties and you have a veggie platter available since you can't seem to eat anything else. Is double dipping at a party ever acceptable?
You never double dip the chip.
Hashtag Seinfeld. for
By the
those of you
way,
who do not
most
know.
parties nowadays, I get a lot more than dipping vegetables.
Oh well. Okay.
That
The fondue
sounded
party.
very. Oh, that
I
sounded
know.
like very.
It was like 1970s fondue party.
Let me clarify that for a moment. No, just because the world is changing now everywhere you go, there's far more options for someone that has a
Yeah,
vegan
that's
or
true.
plant-based or whatever you want to call it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So we are now at the trivia portion. Basically, this is not designed to showcase how smart or unsmart anyone is, but it is an opportunity for all of us to learn something. You did reference one of the great shows of the 1990s, known as Seinfeld. I will ask you about another show that basically made its name in the 1990s. I think you know it somewhat, The Simpsons.
Oh!
My first question, can you please spell Apu's last name?
Nahasapimapedalon? No, I can't.
You can't?
All right.
I'm a little upset that they've decided to discontinue Apu, but
there's a few interviews from Hank Azaria online.
We're not going to get into that now, but what year did The Simpsons start?
Are you talking Tracy Ullman or first episode?
Ooh. Tracy Ullman.
87.
I can't believe you got that right. Like, it wouldn't, not even hesitated.
You didn't watch the Tracy Ullman short?
I did.
I was 5. I went back and
a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
So,
it's not like you're a fan
can you name...
That's good.
Can you name 3 of the voice actors on The Simpsons?
Nancy Cartwright, Hank Azaria, and... wow.
Ooh.
I'm blanking on a third. This is awful. Brain work. Are we talking... Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman.
Rest in peace.
Yes, may he rest
Troy
in peace.
McClure.
Those are some outstanding characters he had.
I was going to say
Lionel
either
Hutz.
that or Lionel Hutz, attorney at law.
Yeah.
There was fur where there was no
Troy
fur.
My number one thing that has come up lately, the important thing was I had an onion on my belt,
That's right.
which was the style at the time.
Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of the Humble Badger Podcast. I want to thank very much Matt Zaddy for being here on the show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You can check him out at mattzaddy.com. His latest album is B, that's B-E. So go and check it out. And check out the single Brighter Days. You will not be sorry. I also want to thank the lovely co-host, the talented co-host, Mr. Gio Del Guapo. You can follow him at Gio Del Guapo on Instagram. And I want to thank you very much for being here.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate
Just so you know, the Squeaks was a water bottle.
Yes. A water bottle.
it. That's what we'll tell everyone. Yes,
That's
it
what
was
we'll
a
tell
water
everyone
bottle.
anyway. And I'd also like to thank our promotional partners. They're at One Stop Printing. You can visit them at onestopprintshop.ca for all your printing needs. Signing off from the set here at Trax Ahead Studio, my name is Pablo Dawson. Wherever you are and whatever you do, remember to follow your passion.
Thank you for tuning in to the Humble Badger Podcast. For more information, please visit thehumblebadger.com. The Humble Badger Podcast is produced by the Pablo Dawson Company. Context matters. See you next time.